There are places where the familiar laws of Earth seem to stop making sense, and the more we try to explain them, the more questions they reveal. A mountain that appears to defy gravity. A city suspended above a sea of clouds. An island that disappears beneath the ocean every single day. But that is only where the story begins. These are not legends or cinematic illusions. They are real places where nature, history, and humanity itself compel us to see the world in an entirely different way. Pilatus Kulm is not Switzerland's highest mountain, yet it is where people confront one of the country's most challenging railway ascents. The train moves slowly between towering limestone cliffs, where wind and clouds constantly transform the landscape. With every foot of elevation gained, the sense of distance and gravity feels entirely different from the valley below. As the climb continues, the tracks press ever closer to the mountainside. The train conquers gradients of up to 48%, ascending 5,360 feet over just 2.9 miles. For every football field it travels, it rises nearly the height of a 10-story building. That feat is possible only because of the locker rack system, a unique mechanism that locks the train securely to the track, preventing gravity from pulling it back down. The mountain itself was shaped from Schradenkalk limestone, fractured into countless cracks and unstable slopes of broken rock that continue to shift quietly with the changing seasons. Research conducted between 1998 and 2023 found that spring now arrives about 6 days earlier across the alpine meadows, as temperatures following snowmelt have increased by 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit per decade, revealing that even a landscape that appears timeless is still changing. Perhaps that is why, for centuries, the people of Lucerne believed dragons hidden within the mountain's caves could summon storms into the valley below. At an elevation of nearly 6,900 feet, where atmospheric pressure falls to about 798.8 hectopascals, amid thunder echoing across the cliffs and clouds that endlessly close and part, the legend still seems to find its place within reality. Pilatus Kulm does not simply prove that people can build a railway across an almost vertical mountainside. It demonstrates that engineering succeeds best when it adapts to geology, rather than trying to conquer nature. Some mountains are remembered for their height. Pilatus Kulm is remembered for making gravity itself part of the journey. Meteora rises above central Greece on 60-million-year-old rock pillars, reminiscent of the sandstone towers of Utah. Perched atop two rock columns nearly 1,200 feet high, Great Meteoron and Varlam seem to float between earth and sky. The quiet flow of the Pineios River below makes the landscape feel even more surreal. At first glance, the sheer rock pillars, rising 500 to 800 feet, appeared to leave no possible route to the summit. Yet it was upon the two largest of these columns that Great Meteora and Varlum were built, transforming places that seemed reachable only by birds into centers of faith that have endured for centuries. What is most remarkable is not only their location, but how people first reached them. Before stairways existed, monks and building materials were hauled upward in rope nets and pulley systems anchored to the cliff faces. Every ascent was a journey suspended between the sky above and the abyss below. Great Meteora became Meteora's largest and oldest monastery, preserving a historic library and a remarkable collection of post-Byzantine frescoes. Meanwhile, Varlum still preserves the hauling nets and wooden winch once used to lift both people and construction materials over the nearly vertical cliffs, telling the story of how faith overcame terrain that seemed impossible to conquer. Amid rock pillars tens of millions of years old, Great Meteora and Varlum do more than challenge gravity. They demonstrate how human determination transformed seemingly unreachable mountaintops into places devoted to preserving faith. At Meteora, what leaves people looking upward is not simply the height, but the determination that found a path through the sky. Not many cities make people look upward from beneath the clouds the way Machu Picchu does. At nearly 8,000 feet above sea level, it once stood at the heart of the Inca Empire, whose territory stretched almost as wide as the continental United States. Its white granite walls seem to rise directly from the mountainside, making the entire city appear suspended between earth and sky. The city was built on a steep mountainside within the cloud forests of the Andes, where humidity regularly reaches 80 to 90% and mist rises continuously from the Urubamba Gorge, nearly 1,500 feet below, cloaking the stone plazas. Each morning, the entire citadel seems to emerge from the clouds, only to disappear into them once again. The Inca did not simply build with stone, they entered into a dialogue with the mountain itself. The sacred rock was carved to mirror the silhouette of the surrounding peaks, while massive granite blocks were fitted together without mortar. The secret to their endurance lies in the very earthquakes that threaten the region. When the ground shakes, the stone walls shift slightly, then settle back into their original positions. The surprises do not end with its engineering. A 2023 DNA study revealed that Machu Picchu was home to people from the Amazon, Peru's coast, Colombia, and Ecuador. And long before Hiram Bingham became known to the world for its discovery in 1911, a local farmer had already left his signature on one of the walls in 1902, quietly telling a very different story about the city. Perhaps Machu Picchu's greatest wonder does not lie in its stone walls, but in the way an entire civilization persuaded both the mountains and time itself to preserve a city. Amid the cloud seas of the Andes, Machu Picchu remains a reminder that history's greatest secrets rarely belong to the first person who claims to have found them. Mont Saint-Michel rises from Normandy Bay like a stone fortress cut off from the mainland. Twice each day, the sea quietly rewrites the entire landscape. Standing here, the boundary between land and water seems never to have been permanent. An ancient granite outcrop, formed by magma intrusion around 525 million years ago, became the island's foundation. The bay has the second largest tidal range in Europe, with a difference of up to 52 feet, roughly the height of a 5-story building. As the tide rises, the sea swallows the causeway, turning the entire mount into a solitary island. Scientists have even compared the ecosystem here to Sapelo Island in the U.S. state of Georgia. Beneath the cliffs, the rocky reefs rising nearly 4 feet are not built by coral. Millions of marine worms, living at densities of 1,400 to 5,600 individuals per square foot, have quietly constructed durable reef-like structures that trap sediment within the bay's powerful tidal zone. On August 1, 1944, a single American private, accompanied by 2 British journalists, entered Mont-Saint-Michel to witness the town's liberation. The soldier was warmly welcomed by the residents and signed the Golden Book, while the incoming tide continued to race across the bay at the speed of a person running across a football field. At Mont Saint-Michel, it is neither the stone walls nor human architecture that holds dominion, but the rhythm of the tides, quietly shaping every trace left behind. Between sea and land, Mont Saint-Michel remains a reminder that nature always writes the final chapter of every story. Palawan stretches across the Philippine Sea like a maze of limestone, tropical rainforest, and ocean. From above, deep blue lagoons lie hidden among towering limestone cliffs, as though they have never belonged to the outside world. Every step farther into the landscape reveals another secret. Palawan is home to the Puerto Princesa Subterranean River National Park. Covering about 86 square miles, roughly 1.25 times the size of Washington, D.C. Beneath its limestone mountains flows the world's longest navigable underground river, creating an unbroken ecosystem that connects the mountains to the sea like a self-contained world. It is also one of the planet's biodiversity hotspots, with more than 1,000 species of marine fish. However, a report published in 2025 found that 58% of the surveyed species are experiencing significant declines due to climate change, microplastics, and pollution. A marine paradise still appears untouched on the surface, yet the life beneath it is quietly disappearing. Yet there are places in Palawan whose beauty is not meant for everyone to reach. For the Tagbanwa people, many of the lakes on Coron Island are sacred places, where nature is protected by traditions passed down through generations. That respect has helped preserve these crystal-clear waters in an almost pristine state to this day. On Coron Island, the Tagbanwa believe that giant octopuses guard the sacred lakes. Anyone who speaks an ordinary language is said to risk being pulled forever into the depths below. In Palawan, beauty has never existed only in the landscape. It also lies hidden within the boundaries that people choose not to cross. Beneath limestone cliffs rising 800 feet, Belogradchik rests beside the place where a river suddenly emerges from the heart of the mountain. Blue-green water surges from the mouth of a dark cave, carrying a chill that spreads throughout the valley. Standing before this scene, It is difficult to tell what came first, human presence or nature's own miracle. For most of its history, Vinicunca displayed none of the colors that would one day draw visitors from around the world. Only after the permanent ice retreated around 2013 did mineral layers, buried for thousands of years, emerge all at once, transforming the mountainside into a geological masterpiece never before seen. To witness this landscape, the journey typically takes between 14 and 16 hours, while the actual time spent at the viewpoint lasts only about 45 minutes. If Oregon's painted hills impress with their colors, Vinicunca challenges every step with the thin air of the high Andes. At this elevation, oxygen levels are only about half of those at sea level. The body quickly responds with headaches, a racing heartbeat, and shortness of breath, while the weather can shift from around 60 degrees Fahrenheit to biting winds, snow, and muddy trails in less than an hour. Under these conditions, coca leaves remain a trusted companion for the people of the Andes. Vinicunca was shaped not only by minerals, but also by time and ice. To witness its bands of color, people must first overcome the limits of their own breath. At Belogradchik, the monastery is only part of the story. The greatest mystery remains the river that has never stopped flowing from the heart of the mountain. Vinicunca rises to nearly 17,000 feet in the Peruvian Andes, even higher than the Everest Base Camp in Nepal. Bands of colorful minerals stretch across the mountainside like a giant cloak. Every breath is a reminder that this beauty always comes at a price. The journey to Vinicunca is as demanding as the mountain itself. Most visitors spend between 14 and 16 hours traveling and hiking for just about 45 minutes at the viewpoint. If Oregon's painted hills astonish with their colors, Vinicunca pushes people further with the breathtakingly thin air of the high Andes. The remarkable truth is that these famous bands of color were once completely invisible. It was not until 2013, when the permanent ice retreated, that layers of minerals containing iron, sulfur, quartz, marl, phyllite, and magnesium were exposed all at once, transforming the mountainside into a geological masterpiece that had never existed in the memory of generations. At this elevation, oxygen levels are only about half of those at sea level. Headaches, nausea, and a racing heartbeat appear quickly, while temperatures can shift from around 60 degrees Fahrenheit at the foot of the mountain to biting winds, snow, and muddy trails in less than an hour. Through it all, the bitter taste of coca leaves remains the traditional way the people of the Andes cope with the extreme altitude. Vinicunca challenges more than your legs, it challenges every breath you take. Its bands of color can only truly be seen by those willing to trade comfort for thin air and an extraordinary journey. Some wonders are not meant to be conquered easily. They exist to remind us that nature reserves its greatest beauty for those with the patience to reach it. Hidden behind this geological wall, Hengifos suddenly plunges 420 feet into the gorge below. Standing at its base, you feel as though you are reading the pages of Earth's history with your own eyes. Hands cut across the dark cliffs as though someone had torn the mountain apart with giant brushes. From a distance, Hengifos resembles a 40-story tower pouring water endlessly into the canyon. Surrounding the waterfall are layers of black basalt alternating with iron-rich red sediment, formed between 5 and 6 million years ago, making the entire cliff appear like a vast geological chronicle opened in the middle of nature. Yet its greatest secret lies deep within those very rock layers. Scientists have discovered fossils of conifer trunks and brown coal, evidence that Iceland was once home to warm temperate forests long before ice came to dominate the island. Today's frozen landscape preserves the memory of a world that was once entirely different. To reach the waterfall, visitors must hike about 1.5 miles across steep, rocky, and slippery terrain. As mist fills the gorge, local legend says that the ringing of bells and the hymns of elves can still be heard echoing from deep within the cliffs. Hengifoss tells more than the story of water and stone. It places you between two worlds, where the ice of the present conceals the memory of forests that flourished millions of years ago. Some waterfalls are not only seen with the eyes, but also heard through the rocks that continue to tell their story in silence. If cliffs could hold the rain, Lauterbrunnen would be the place where they learned how. Water spills continuously over the cliff edges from every direction before dissolving into mist within a glacial valley nearly 3,300 feet deep. Every step feels as though you are walking beneath a sky that is slowly melting. Lauterbrunnen was shaped not by a river, but by immense glaciers. More than 25,000 years ago, thick ice carved through the mountains, leaving behind a U-shaped valley with cliffs nearly as tall as 3 Empire State Buildings stacked together, surrounding a valley floor less than half a mile wide. Yet this harsh landscape supports an extraordinary diversity of life. More than 1,800 species of vascular plants and around 700 species of moss cling to the mountainsides, while glacier fleas survive in temperatures just above freezing. Plant remains also reveal that people have lived here for about 3,400 years. Today, that beauty has created another paradox. Around 20,000 base jumps take place here each year, but they also claim dozens of lives. Meanwhile, the village's more than 2,400 residents continue searching for ways to protect their home from over-tourism, ensuring that Lauterbrunnen does not become an amusement park in the middle of the Alps. The force that created Lauterbrunnen is not the waterfalls cascading today. It was the immense glaciers that patiently sculpted the mountains over the course of 25,000 years. Amid the endless sound of falling water, Lauterbrunnen continues to tell the story of an age when ice was still the architect of the earth. At first glance, it is difficult to tell where human construction ends and nature begins. Belogradchik blends its fortress walls into red rock formations rising as high as 650 feet, making the entire stronghold appear as though it was born from the mountain itself. Few realize that Belogradchik's most imposing walls had already stood for more than 230 million years before the first stone of the fortress was laid. These massive sandstone formations, created during the Triassic period, became a natural line of defense, while humans merely added walls about 33 feet high to complete what nature had already begun. That harmony creates a landscape where the boundary between nature and architecture nearly disappears. Rock formations known as the Madonna, Adam and Eve, and the Schoolgirl stand alongside ancient watchtowers, while golden eagles and gray wolves continue to inhabit the surrounding mountains. Not far away, Meteora Cave preserves prehistoric astronomical symbols painted with back guano thousands of years ago. From the summit of First Slab, the entire Balkan Mountains unfold beneath your feet. Yet the same place that offers such a remarkable view also witnessed the execution of the leaders of the 1850 uprising, leaving behind a silence that seems to linger within every stone step. Belogradchik did not conquer nature by building fortress walls. Instead, it allowed nature to become part of the fortress itself, erasing the boundary between two creators. Some fortresses were built to resist time. Belogradchik endures because time built it first. Amid the mountains of northern Vietnam, the terraced rice fields of Mont St stretch for nearly 12 miles along the steep hillsides. Golden curves flow across the mountains like waves climbing toward the peaks. Few places blend nature and human craftsmanship so seamlessly. What is remarkable is that this entire landscape was not created with modern machinery. For more than 20 generations, the Hmong people have diverted water from mountain streams through a network of bamboo channels, allowing it to flow from one terrace to the next before continuing into the valley below. That steady flow of water has shaped the form of the entire mountainside. Today, the terraces cover more than 5,000 acres, nearly 6 times the size of New York's Central Park, while the Protected Heritage Corps preserves a farming tradition passed down from one generation to the next. Each season of flowing water and each rice harvest transforms the landscape into something entirely different. Yet as tourism grows rapidly, some of the rice terraces are gradually being replaced by flower fields designed for visitors. This raises an important question about how to preserve a living heritage that continues to be shaped with every growing season. Mu Cang Chai is not a story of humanity conquering the mountains. It is the story of people learning to follow the flow of water, then allowing nature to complete the rest. In Mu Cang Chai, every terrace quietly tells a story of patience carved into the mountains. Bryce Canyon stands atop the Grand Staircase, a geological stairway preserving more than 200 million years of Earth's history. Thousands of hoodoos cover the cliffs like a stone city glowing in the middle of the desert. Standing before this landscape, you feel as though time is still carving the cliffs, one layer at a time. Bryce Canyon stretches across elevations ranging from 6,600 to 9,100 feet, perched at the summit of the Grand Staircase, a vast geological sequence that extends continuously to the Grand Canyon. On clear days, visibility can exceed 100 miles, revealing nearly the entire plateau of southern Utah. Nowhere else on Earth contains a greater concentration of hoodoos than Bryce Canyon. Thousands of stone spires, cliffs, natural windows, and narrow slot canyons have been sculpted by rainwater and frost over millions of years. Every hoodoo has its own distinct shape, from Thor's hammer to Queen Victoria and the alligator. What is surprising is that scientists still do not fully understand how these rock formations developed. Meanwhile, the number of freeze-thaw cycles is declining rapidly, meaning the very process that created Bryce Canyon is now changing before our eyes. Beneath this pristine sky, light from distant planets suddenly becomes visible. At Bryce, the night sky is so dark that Venus and Jupiter are bright enough to cast shadows on the ground. Some places allow the sky and the earth to tell the same story, a story that has unfolded over millions of years. The world has always been far greater than humanity has ever believed it understood. Countless stories are still waiting to be discovered.